You've met them before. The quiet ones. They sit at the edge of the room, observing, while everyone else fills the air with noise. You might catch them smiling faintly at a joke, nodding every now and then, but rarely do they add much to the conversation. Some people assume they're shy. Others think they're unfriendly, or maybe even arrogant. But the truth is quieter and far more complex. See, people who don't talk too much aren't necessarily afraid of speaking. They just don't feel the need to. For them, words aren't tools to fill silence. They're currency. And not everything deserves to be paid for. If you've ever been one of them, the quiet ones, you know it's not that your mind is empty, it's that it's too full. Thoughts moving fast, overlapping like waves, each one fighting to find the right edge to land on. You think before you speak, not out of fear, but precision. Because you've learned that once words leave your mouth, you can't take them back. And sometimes, silence just says it better. There's a strange comfort in watching rather than performing. You start to see patterns in people, in energy, in how words can disguise more than they reveal. When you're quiet, the world talks louder. You notice the micro-expressions, the hesitation in someone's tone, the things people say when they think no one's really listening. It's like tuning into a frequency most people miss. But here's something most people don't realize. Quiet doesn't mean detached. People who don't talk much often feel deeply. They're just selective about what and who they share those depths with. When they finally open up, it's not small talk. It's something real, something that matters. They've likely been burned before, maybe by being misunderstood or by giving too much of themselves to the wrong ears. So now they protect their peace. Their silence isn't a wall, it's a filter. And that filter is shaped by psychology. Research shows that quieter people tend to have higher levels of introspection and empathy. They process experiences internally before reacting. Their brains might even light up differently during social interactions, more active in regions tied to self-awareness and less in those linked to impulsive speech. That's why they don't just respond, they reflect. It's not that they can't speak, it's that they wait until they have something worth saying. Sometimes they'll replay conversations long after they've ended, thinking about what they could have said differently, not because they regret their silence, but because their mind doesn't stop turning things over. They analyze tone, motive, emotion, like an editor reviewing an unfinished draft. They live in their own kind of dialogue, one that happens quietly inside their head. And while the world often praises those who speak loudest, there's a different kind of power in those who speak least. Their silence holds weight. When they do talk, people listen. Because when you barely use your voice, every word becomes deliberate. Of course, it's not always easy. Being quiet in a loud world can feel like standing in the middle of a storm with no umbrella. People misunderstand your silence for indifference, when really you just process life differently. You're not avoiding connection, you're seeking meaning. You don't want conversations, you want understanding. And maybe that's why quiet people often attract others who talk a lot. There's balance there, the listener and the speaker, the thinker and the feeler. But it only works when both understand that silence isn't emptiness, it's space. The truth is, people who don't talk too much are some of the most self-aware, emotionally intelligent individuals you'll ever meet. They've mastered the art of restraint in a world addicted to noise. And maybe we could all learn something from that. Because silence, real silence, isn't the absence of words, it's the presence of thought. It's knowing when to speak and when to hold back. It's having enough self-control to let the moment breathe before you fill it. So the next time you meet someone who doesn't talk too much, don't rush to fill their silence. Sit with it. Let it stretch. You might be surprised at what that stillness reveals, not just about them, but about you too. After all, sometimes the quiet ones aren't trying to be mysterious. They're just comfortable in their own minds. And that's something worth respecting.